Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of Funky Moose Radar, a weekly podcast about the world of vinyl, music, and record gear. My name is Mark, and I run Funky Moose Records. I will discuss the top 5 most popular articles on radar.funkymoose.ca, where I post new articles multiple times per day, and I will leave a link below in the description. Let's get to it. So it's a top 5. So number 5 article is written by the Star in Toronto, the Toronto Star. The 19-year-old running a vinyl business. In other words, he's running a record store. He is 19 years old, which is cool and pretty young to start a business. I started my own business at the age of 21, so I know how tough it is to be a young entrepreneur and start something new. It's fairly scary, I can tell you. But Julian Seth Wong has 1,000 square foot space in Toronto. The store is carries about 3,000 records. And according to the article, he went to the conservatory. um, he dropped that in grade 10, and instead of going to university, he got a bank loan to start this business. His father co-signed for the loan for the store, but Julian says that he didn't seek a lot more financial help from his parents because he wanted to do as much of as possible on his own, which is, I think, pretty awesome. So if you're in the Toronto area, definitely look him up. He seems like a cool guy. I read some comments on this article, and it seems like Julian actually knows what he's talking about as well. So check him out and share with everybody what's going on there. Number 4, Metallica is releasing some of their old records on Record Store Day this year. And they dropped a sample of the remastered version of the Four Horsemen, which is on the Kill 'Em All album, and it's up on SoundCloud, as you can see here, and the comments are very widespread. Some are saying this is great, some are saying it's really, really bad. The best horse gallop ever, best Metallica song ever, redo it on the next album. Somebody loves it. There are dynamics. I guess there were none on the first one then, I guess, the original. Amazing remaster, and right under that, dreadful. This is brutal to, well, let's just call it very widespread from bad to very good. So I guess we'll see when the records actually come out on Record Store Day what the final verdict is. Then Aurora man discovers a rare Beatles record for only a few bucks. For those of you who know a little bit about the Beatles, the record Yesterday and Today came with basically 2 covers. The original was called the Butcher cover, but they had to cover the cover because it was too provoking for a lot of people. And in this article, you can see the original. This is what it looked like, and they had to cover that up. So if you're lucky enough to be able to find an original pressing with this cover, you might be able to catch quite a bit of money for it. I'll do a quick eBay search for you. Because they are very, very valuable. Beatles butcher cover. That's a bootleg. Of course, it only shows the bootlegs now. $50, $50, $60, 200, 510, 600, 1,000. So $2,270 is the most asked on eBay right now. Anyway, so coincidentally, it's also 50 years ago yesterday, March 25th, that the album came out. So that might also increase the value of the record a little bit. But this guy, Kyle Helly, Kyle is his name, I believe. He bought it for $5, and he could easily flip it on eBay for about $1,000 to $2,000. But he says, I don't need to sell it. I'm not going to sell it, which is cool. Then, Trax Wax is a vinyl subscription service for those craving that fresh underground dance sound. Now, don't get too excited if you're in the US or Canada. This is a service in the UK and Europe mostly. And it's focused on subgenres within the electronic dance music genre. They have 4 boxes available. Trax Wax box is a mix of house and deep house records curated by Rush Hour in Amsterdam. The disco box is a mix of disco and new disco curated by Synchrophone Record Shop in Paris. Then Old School box is a mix of New York, Detroit, and Chicago house records curated by Clone in Rotterdam. And New School box is a mix of tech house and techno records curated by World and Sound in Germany. So if you're listening to this and you're in the UK, check them out. They are called Trax Wax. And then the number 1 article on the radar this week is kind of creepy. Record. So there's a service, it's called Vinily, for £3,000. Again, it's in the UK, which is about 4,000 to 5,000 Canadian dollars. You can have your ashes pressed into a vinyl record. It includes 12 minutes of audio per side, so you can include a final farewell to your friends and relatives that are still alive. Somebody already mentioned that it would be creepy to put it in the will and send it out to random friends that might not know that you have passed away as a final salute. Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about this. It's kind of on the verge of being too weird. But hey, it could be somebody's cup of coffee, I guess. So as you may have noticed, if you watch the first episode, that was quite a bit longer than this one. It's because I noticed that the first episode was about 17 minutes, and I noticed that a lot of you dropped off at about 8-9 minutes. So I figured I was probably talking too long. So I'm going to try to make the next episodes within the 10-minute range. So it's just a brief overview of the top 5 articles on the blog, and then from there on you can read them yourself if you go to radar.funkymoose.ca. So let me know in the comments what you think about, first of all, the format, second of all, the articles, Um, and especially this last one, I think it's going to haunt me for a while, maybe until I'm dead and my ashes are in vinyl. Anyway, um, like I said, let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to stay in the loop. I'm planning to do this every week, probably on the weekend. I haven't picked a day yet, but it's likely to be a weekend thing. Also, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And until next week, keep it groovy.